What is up, you interesting human beings? Hydra Turtle here, and in this video we're going to be going over my Lapis Lazuli from MultiVersus character concept. Let's go. So this is going to be my 100th video on my channel, and okay, so put up the thing here. So first we have this 3D model made by a site of Chidori on Twitter. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, that's just a Lapis 3D model that could be used for her in game. We have some icons, Malachite and Bob. Badge idea, which is her like looking at the camera with her cracked gem eyes. I thought that was a really cool idea for like a badge to show how many wins you have. Losing animation, where she had that like that big water sentient giant thing, and a line could be time to stop pulling punches. And then a winning animation, she can make it rain, and then she floats with her wings, and then she's like, I've got a meat morph idea for this. Not the best, I know. I couldn't think of a better voice line. Some variants are Happy Lapis, because no one likes mean Lapis. Lapis from the future, and of course we need a Bob skin. So then if we go over here and we look, we have she's going to be a mage / rage horizontal. I know they just changed it to just mage, but at the time when I made this, it was mage range, so mage horizontal. Lapis Lazuli. Trapped in a mirror, then in the ocean. She deserves a bit of a stretch. Her full name is Lapis Lazuli, so I gave her alias Bob. First appearance was in Mirror Gem in September of 2014 from Steven Universe. Some special moves we'll get into later. A gem trapped in a mirror for thousands of years, she was released by Steven. She proceeded to drain the Earth's water supply in an attempt to get back home. Her crack was healed by Steven, and the next time we saw her, she formed Malachite and trapped Jasper at the bottom of the ocean. That's not technically true, since we saw her on that ship before they formed Malachite, but you know, it was close. Once she was free, Lapis joined the Crystal Gems reluctantly after backlash from the other gems. The Water Witch formed a friendship with Peridot and learned to deal with the gems. She's now a threat to Homeworld and an ally to the Earth. So yeah, that's her whole just like concept sheet, where like other things besides her moveset are. Now let's move on to her moveset. So let's start with her passive abilities and perks. I was going to give her two passive abilities, which is going to be Water Wings. Holding down the jump button allows Lapis to gain a quick burst upward, then glide downward. This does not replace her 2 jumps. So what this would be was you could do 2 jumps normally, and then by holding, like, you know, Steven can float. So she would float, but she would basically have a very small 3rd jump, and then she would glide downward. Next we have the wet status effect. So hitting an enemy with any water-based attacks adds 1 stack of wet. The attacks that have that, I put a little thing that says wet. This makes freezing faster, and when 20 stacks is reached, knockback is increased and gives her a command grab, which replaces her side special and throws the enemies sideways. This command grab can be used at range, but has a cooldown. So I thought the command grab would be really cool because it's a ranged command grab. So you would be able to get crazy kills if you're able to hit it skillfully. I know, how would you use a command grab at range? I'm feeling it might be something like, you know, Superman's punch, where it has that little, or Morty's teleport, where it has that little thing that you can move around to locate where it goes. I don't know exactly how that will work, but now we have the 3 signature perks I thought of. Perk number 1 is called Fluid Personality. Lapis's fully charged attacks add an extra stack of wet. So if you use a non-wet attack, you could get a stack of wet from that, and if you use a wet attack already that you fully charge up, you could get 2 stacks. So that's gonna be interesting. I don't know if wet needs to be 30 or something, because it seems like it'd be pretty powerful if used right. We have Stern Command. Lapis can now place her special no on her up special, in parentheses no, on the ground, which fades away after blocking maybe 3 projectiles. I'm not exactly sure on how many projectiles it should be able to block, because the normal up special will block unlimited projectiles for as long as you're holding it and you don't get hit. Now we have Drenched Rage. For every stack of wet the enemy has, Lapis gains more damage and less speed. Max damage is 15%, max speed is 10%. Applies to the enemy with the most stacks of wet. So this is interesting. I feel like this is a standout that might be overpowered. Her kit is already gonna be overpowered because I made it kind of overpowered, but this is probably gonna be the one most people would use because it just seems good. Because you could use the ground speed perk to kind of negate it. Next, we have her normals. So her neutral square, I'm just calling them squares instead of normals, but they're normals. It's called Water Blast. A water-based projectile that does more knockback the further you are away from the enemy, and this also does have wet. And then aerial water blast is the same as a ground but can be charged. Now we have forward square. Bunt, it's a 3-hit combo. Hitting forward normal again starts a wave that hits the enemy sideways. So like a giant wave of the ocean that hits the enemy sideways. If you hit that, that's going to be wet, but the normal combo is not wet. Then we have Bob's at Bat. Throws a baseball forward. Then if the baseball hits, swings bat and knocks enemies sideways. So if you hit the baseball, you're pretty much guaranteed to hit the baseball bat hit afterwards. I feel like that would be an interesting move because it's like a projectile and a close range hit. It's interesting. Now we have her up square or her up normal, which is called the Beauty of Nature. She swipes upwards with her leaf that Steven gave her. That this can be charged. Most of her moves are going to be charged since most people's squares can be charged anyway. Now we have Trapped. Lapis attacks by shoving the broken TV upward, and it glitches saying trapped over and over again. That's one of her meat morphs. Then we have Down square. Called Hydro Hand, where Lapis forms a giant hand out of water and slams down in front of her. Since it's going to be kind of like a ranged attack. It's kind of like Morty's Earth Crystal thing. Now we have Mirror Gem. Lapis takes out the cracked mirror and hits the enemy downwards. I know I spelled enemy wrong here by accident with a T. They're right next to each other. But that one could be substituted for something more creative, but I couldn't really think of anything for Down square. We have her neutral triangle, or her neutral special. I'm going to call them specials, but they're triangles. Mirror Demise. Mimics last move, but does not work for the command grab. Once 3 charges are used up, it goes on cooldown and becomes a flash of light that applies weakened. So how this works is you can copy up to 3 moves before it has to go on cooldown. It will be like the tennis balls from Tom and Jerry, where each one has a cooldown, and they're going to be pretty long cooldowns since this is going to be a powerful move. So it's going to mimic your last move, and it's going to be its own separate move. So if you do a move that's on cooldown, it won't affect that move's cooldown, and it won't have attack decay if you use that move too many times, because it's going to be the triangle, not the move you just used. And if you use all 3 up, it just becomes a flash of light that does weakened. I'm imagining it will be like Plumbus, where it applies weakened, so you could do like good status effects from it, but it does very little damage and has a small hitbox. But that would like flash in front of her for a second. Now we have an interesting one that I'm unsure about this one, like how to really do it correctly, but it's called Water Clone. Lapis stops and this is her air special neutral. Charges a Water Clone, which can attack and slow enemies. She only has a maximum of 1 clone. That could be changed. I don't know if she needs more than it, if it's a bad move or something. And it will make a clone of a teammate in 2s. It has a long cooldown, but the move allows Lapis to float mid-air. So, like, you could use it to recover or something like that. Like, you could use it to spawn a water clone that will probably die because you're off stage, but you can get it to stop yourself and recover. You could also use it, I think, instead of just a normal water clone of herself, I think it should be of the enemy. Someone recommended me this. And yeah, so that's an interesting move. Now we have forward special, which is called Give Me a Hand. Lapis forms a water arm and flicks forward. So that's going to be so that it's a forward hitting hitbox. It's not right in front of her, it's forward in front of her. And then the same thing in same as the ground. These are both wet as the water clone is. So the water clone will hit. Once it hits, it will put one stack of wet, but it's not going to be able to put multiple stacks of wet. I forgot to put that down on the thing. Now we have our up triangle, which is called No. Lapis forms a water wall that blocks all projectiles in front of her, which stops when you release the button. So she'll be holding up a water wall that blocks projectiles, but that's it. That's all it does. If you get hit, it doesn't block damage, and it does the same thing in the air. And then her down triangle is called I Felt Worse. She swings her hands down and then chains the enemy to the ground, stunning them, like Bugs Bunny's heart thing. And that is armored, and it does wet. And then we have 3 steps. You charge up the barn, yes, the barn, and throw it downward. I had to include that somehow. It's going to have a long cooldown because that's going to be a powerful killing move. It's going to be like Iron Giants, but you are armored while using it, but the barn is not. If the barn was armored, that would be so overpowered. The barn is not armored, only Lapis is. Also, one more thing while I was editing this video, at Mad Max MVS, so Mad Max from MultiVersus on Twitter, made me this really cool and slightly creepy 3D Lapis model for MultiVersus. So shout out to him, go follow him, and yeah. And yeah, that is my entire Lapis Lazuli concept for MultiVersus. I put a lot of work into this because, as you could see, every single thing is some sort of reference to something. And yeah, I made sure that this is the highest of quality. I used a template from Nosy Boy. You can, subscribe to him on YouTube or Twitter. Thank you guys for all the recent support with my subscribers. We're at like 900 right now. We're so close to 1,000. This is my 100th video. That's just insane to me. I think my uploading might get less frequent because I have school literally tomorrow as of recording this video. And I'm going to have homework for that and shit like that. So I'm not going to be able to, do this as much as I would want to. But I would encourage you guys to please go into the comments. Tell me what kind of new content you want. Tell me what kind of new things that you want me to do. Because I know I've blown up partially, in fact, to my Steven Universe stuff, but I know that I can put out decent content. So guys, tell me what kind of MultiVersus related content you guys want to see. I'll still be posting funny clips because those don't take really a lot of effort or time to make, but I'll try to put out MultiVersus content as much as I can. I have a lot of good ideas for new content, but yeah, 1K special, I'm going to start making it soon. Yeah, so thank you guys for making me be able to blow up this YouTube channel in only a month. Let's keep going. I'll make some more character concepts, hopefully. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Hydra Turtle out. Please subscribe. Also, I just realized while almost about to be done editing with this that a better line for her victory, instead of I've got a meat morph idea for this, would be I knew it, no one could be that well adjusted. Okay, bye and subscribe.